If you want to start an Airbnb business, but you're too scared to buy a house, and you just want to dip your toes in the water to see how it all works before you fully commit, then this video is for you. Because in today's video, I'm actually going to teach you how to convert your primary residence, if you own it, into an Airbnb so that you can test it out. And let me just say that the ideal version of this is you convert your primary into an Airbnb, and you take the money from that reservation and you use it to pay for a vacation somewhere else while someone lives in your house. I actually did this when I first got into the Airbnb business. I owned a house, I had a roommate and my wife, and I pitched them this idea. I said, hey, if you're down, let's clean up the house, let's list it on Airbnb, and whatever money we make from the reservation, we can apply it towards our flights and an Airbnb in Mexico City. They agreed. That's exactly what happened. And I basically got an all expenses paid trip to Mexico City when I was like super broke. So I promise you this strategy works. It's awesome. And it can open up some pretty cool opportunities for you. And by the way, if you don't know who I am, I'm Rob Abasolo. I am one of the largest short-term rental educators out there. I've taught millions of people on the internet and thousands of my own students how to do this exact thing. I'm gonna break down today's video into 3 sections. Section 1, we're gonna talk about everything you need to do before you actually list your property. Section 2 will be everything you need to keep in mind when you actually list your property. And Section 3 will be everything that comes after your first reservation. So let's jump into Section 1, which I'm calling the pre-launch phase, and talk about everything you need to keep in mind. First and foremost, you live in this space, and no matter how clean you think you are, you're dirty. Meaning behind your beds, behind your media consoles and your buffets and your cadenzas, there's a lot of gunk that has accrued over the years. You gotta clean your property. Once you've cleaned it, then you probably wanna deep clean it. It's gonna be more rigorous than you think if you haven't ever deep cleaned your house. Trust me, I remember moving out of one of my first primary residences and turning it into an Airbnb. I remember I was moving furniture around and I was just like, oh my gosh. It's crazy how much dust there is in your house, but if you have a dog, you have dog hair in places you didn't even know existed. It may be worth hiring a legitimate cleaner here if you're not the most detail-oriented cleaner. Next thing you're gonna wanna do is declutter your home, meaning all the tchotchkes and random things that you've collected over the years that are kind of an eyesore, and you're like, did you buy that at TJ Maxx? Why did you buy so many of them? It really doesn't make sense. All that stuff has gotta go. We wanna keep your house as minimal as possible, and you don't want your house to feel like a flea market, which the majority of Airbnbs kind of look like in this scenario where it's just a casual host and not a professional operator. Final thing here, cleaning is not just inside, it is outside too, and you'd be surprised at how much junk you probably have inside of your house and between your house and the neighbor's house and in your backyard. You don't want people to come to your Airbnb, go in your backyard wanting to relax, and then seeing like a bunch of random junk and old, wet, soggy boxes. Once your place is spick and span and relatively decluttered, the next thing you're gonna wanna do is empty out all of your closets and all of your drawers and consolidate all of your shoes and all of your socks and shirts and everything into one space. It would be ideal if you had some kind of master closet in your property that you could just put some kind of lock on and prevent people from going in, but not everyone has that. When I was first getting started out and I converted my primary into a temporary Airbnb, I stuck everything in totes and then I dragged all those totes into my garage, and that's where I stored them while I went on vacation. This part is really annoying, but it's super crucial. I just stayed at a place in Copenhagen, amazing place, but I opened up their closets and there was like old gross shoes in there. It was just kind of like, oh, okay, someone lives here, and just knowing that I was living in someone's primary residence, it didn't really like affect the stay, but in the back of my head, I was kind of like, I feel like I'm in someone else's place. It makes your guests feel like they're intruding on you, and you don't really want that. So box everything up, stick it in a master closet that you can lock or in your garage. Next thing is your food. It's pretty impractical to throw away all of your food, especially given that collecting spices and oils and all that stuff over the years can cost hundreds of bucks. So my advice here would be to consolidate as much of your pantry as possible into one space and leave your guests ample space for their own groceries. Now, unfortunately, I can't say the same for your fridge. You're gonna want that to be empty. What this means is you're gonna throw away a lot of food, or you're gonna pack it up, take it to a buddy's house, stick it in their fridge. My business partner, best friend, Airbnb's his place from time to time, puts a lot of stuff in my fridge. And that's the easy solution. If you don't wanna throw away that $50 pack of salmon that you bought from Costco that you're never gonna actually eat. Number 5 in this list, once you've got all your food out of the way, is you wanna make sure that you have a cohesive set of towels and hand towels. What I mean by this is you wanna have a pretty standard set of towels and hand towels. You don't want random mismatched ones that are stained, that have your bleach stains or have your tomato sauce stains on it and make people feel kind of gross using. This may be a new purchase for you. You can get towels for pretty cheap on Amazon. As a matter of fact, if you need help with this, I actually have this shopping list right here. It has every single item that I personally use to stock my Airbnbs, so use that as you will. It's linked in the description down below. Now, when it comes to towels and hand towels, you wanna make sure that you can supply one per person for every person that you plan on hosting. So if you're gonna host 5 people, you want 5 sets of towels. Moving gears here into the kitchen, number 6, you're gonna wanna also provide things like mugs, cups, cups, plates, bowls, silverware, one set for every person that's gonna be staying at your property. And the last little golden tip here, this is a bonus, but I highly recommend it because it's kind of gross if you don't. Make sure you buy mattress protectors if you don't already have them. Like if you're an adult and you don't have a mattress protector, do you just like to live life on the edge? Do you not chronically wet the bed? Is that just me?
That is sheep back there.
It doesn't matter. Go and buy a mattress protector just for life, especially if you have kids, especially if you have pets. I learned that lesson the hard way many years ago, but you definitely want a mattress protector. If you want to be super thorough, you would get one of those mattress protectors that zip around your mattress and then another mattress protector that goes over the top of your mattress if you want to protect yourself fully from bed bugs. And that's pretty much going to cover your pre-launch phase. There's a lot more that could go into that, but I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible for you. If you want the whole shebang and the whole tutorial on how to host, then stick around until the very end because I've got something for you. All right, take a breather. That might feel like drinking water from a water hose or sticking your head upside down in the Coke Zero fountain machine at Chipotle and making a fool out of yourself in front of everybody. Let's jump into section 2 here, which is the launch phase and everything that goes into listing your property. Now that your place is clean, tidy, it's time for photos. If you watch this channel, then you know that I am a huge advocate of hiring a professional photographer. I think it's absolutely necessary if you want to make the most amount of money possible. I think it's absolutely crucial for success. With that said, I might be okay with you breaking the rules just this first time that you're going to list your property on Airbnb, because I know that in this scenario, you're testing the water. You probably don't want to spend hundreds of bucks on a photographer. I'm going to still say it. If you spend between 150 to 400 bucks on a photographer, you will make that back very quickly. But if you're cheap and you're not gonna listen to me, I suppose a cell phone is fine. That feels very weird to say. Hopefully that illustrates how much I hate cell phone photos. Again, we're testing the waters here in what's called a rapid prototype, which is how fast can we take a concept and actually launch it. I don't like it. I don't. I want you to just hire a professional photographer. Fine. Just know you're leaving money on the table if you use cell phone photos, all right? That's all I'm gonna say. Let's move on. Ultimately, I'm gonna say this. Your place might be clean, it might be decluttered, but that doesn't mean that it's photo ready. I would really recommend that you fill in your space with things like fake plants, for example. It's not like this was just chilling here before the video. I put this here for staging purposes. But if you take it out, you know, the shot is pretty much the same, but something feels missing now that you have that frame of reference, in my opinion anyway. But some greenery really livens up the space. You can even cheat it a little bit. If you buy a few plants, you can use those same plants over and over again in different rooms for your photo set to just make your photos look better, quippy? Make your photos more quippy and more lively, if you will. First thing under the section, photos, we gotta get them done. All right, the second thing under this section is you have to actually list your property on Airbnb. Now, if you want to do me a solid and you want to connect with me, you can actually use my specific link to list your property on Airbnb. What this will do is it will connect me to you in the Airbnb portal, and when your listing is actually complete, I can review it and actually give you some tangible feedback. And most of the time when you use my link, you actually get a little money when you sign up, list, and host your first reservation. Now, if you're interested in learning everything that goes into creating your Airbnb listing, I will link it out right here. It might be right here, so you can watch after this video. But the one thing I want you to keep in mind, and it's super important, is that you have to have pretty thorough copy in your listing. Copy is basically all of the words that you see in your Airbnb listing. A lot of people get freaked out by this. Don't freak out. There are a lot of tools out there that can help you, like ChatGPT, for example. Not to keep plugging like every single video I've ever made in my life, but I do have a video, see, where I teach you how to literally use ChatGPT to write all of your listing copy if you're not a strong writer. Now, you're still gonna have to edit it, punch it up a little bit, but that will get you 90% of the way there. Now, a couple of things that are super crucial if you want this to go super smoothly while you're on vacation is you wanna make sure that all of your check-in instructions are filled out in your listing. So this is basically a photo walkthrough that will allow your guests to visually see how to check into your property. And you're also gonna wanna have your Wi-Fi details in there as well. One of the big pieces that you're gonna probably be like, whoa, what do I choose? Airbnb has like 7 cancellation policies. I adhere to the strict cancellation policy. I've never changed it. I've always ran my business that way. So choose that if you wanna do what I do. Next tip here, which feels so weird to tell you this, is forget automations. If you watch this channel, you know I tell you to automate everything. Automate your messages, automate your pricing, automate your cleaning crew coordination, all that stuff. Considering you're more than likely only gonna sporadically be Airbnb-ing your property, there's no need to pay $50 to $100 a month on random random property management systems, cleaning coordination systems, dynamic pricing platforms. That stuff isn't particularly necessary unless you plan on being a full-time host, in my opinion. Plus, my advice in general to people that are first getting started in the world of what was I saying? All right. For people that are looking to get started in the world of hosting, whenever you actually get ADHD, by the way, you know, that's just how it works. Dang it.
Idiot.
For people that are looking to get started, typically I say before you go into full automations and like you're ready to automate your life away to robots, what I tell people is I think it's very important to spend the first month or so understanding your own business, messaging guests yourself so you know the types of questions that are coming up before you automate everything, coordinate with your cleaners so that you kind of have that rapport built before you automate everything, and understand the pricing of your area before you automate everything. Which brings me to the last point of this section, and it's pricing. Now, I would ordinarily tell you to go pick a dynamic pricing software. This is a software that will basically shimmy your prices based on the supply and demand of your market every single day. But again, that will cost you money and I don't think it's really necessary. I would say for you, what's best is for you to go into Airbnb, go and set some filters to get homes that are apples to yours. Meaning, if you have a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, go to Airbnb and find bedrooms that are 4 beds, 3 baths. Only look at those properties because it's a direct comparison to your property. And then I would go into the calendars and I would start clicking around every single week for the next month, the next 2 months to understand what their average daily rate is on the weekdays and on the weekends, see how fully booked they are, and choose your base price based on competition 1 to 2 miles in proximity from you. And let me just say that is a very overly simplistic way to set your pricing strategy, but I am trying to keep it as simple for you as possible. So TLDW, too long didn't listen, go check out what nearby comps, comparable properties are charging. Choose something in that ballpark that you're comfortable letting your property book for. And that's gonna be most things you have to keep in mind when launching your listing. Now let's get into the final section here, which is the post-reservation self-management phase, the oh crap, I got my first booking, now what do I do phase. If you will, and I hope you will. Cut it, that's dumb. Next. First thing you have to keep in mind in the self-management phase of this is you kind of want someone to be the boots on the ground for your property. In most instances, this is going to be a handyman that can address on-the-ground issues that may arise while you're on vacation. Now, if you don't want to formally go through the process of interviewing a handyman and getting quotes from different handyman, blah, 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 that's fine. Because this is your primary residence, I'm sure you got friends or buds or family nearby that might be able to come and address on-the-ground issues for you if they're very small and easy to handle. Just make sure you compensate them for that. But it is good to have someone on standby, otherwise you're gonna have to go quote hunting while you're in Hawaii, and that's never fun. Unless you're a sick freak, I suppose. Then I guess it's fun. Ordinarily, if you're looking to get into the short-term rental game full-time, I'd also have you find a cleaner, a dedicated cleaner to do all the turns for your property. Considering that this is a test or a pilot, you will likely be cleaning the property yourself and pocketing that cleaning fee. I think that's totally fine. I think it's well worth the money to just hire someone to come and clean your property for you after the guest checks out. Otherwise, you're gonna see your home in a condition that you haven't really ever seen it before, and knowing that strangers and people you didn't know were the ones that left your home in that condition might kind of just creep you out a little bit. So sometimes it's good from a taking the emotion out of things standpoint to have someone else kind of come in and do the dirty work, if you will. I've seen things. No. God, no! And last thing here, have your phone on you at all times. Look, I know in the ideal scenario, you're on vacation and you want to disconnect to connect, all that good stuff. But bottom line is you are renting your property to other people so that you can go on that vacation. So you might have to work a little bit. I do it all the time. I've never taken a true vacation where I didn't have to deal with Airbnb. So get over it. You might have to message guests and tell them where you stored the can opener. And it's gonna be fine. You can then go back and have your Mai Tais or your pina coladas. When it rains, it pours. Something will probably come up. You're probably gonna freak out. And then you'll get through it in like 5, 10, 15 minutes after nerves and tensions have died down a bit. And you'll be like, oh yeah, that wasn't a big deal. That's usually how things work in the Airbnb space. Of course, keep in mind that if you plan this correctly, your vacation will be free anyways, so it can't be all that bad. And that's pretty much it. I've got one final tip for you here, and this tip is going to be to try to remove the emotion out of this. This is your personal home. You've got sentimental value to a lot of the things in this property of yours. Obviously, don't leave anything out that you don't want to be broken or scratched or chipped or ripped, because it probably will be. I would plan for it to happen. It's not like it happens all the time, but things do come up, and for that reason, there's a thing called air cover that will cover you in most instances. One time I listed my dad's property on Airbnb. The tenant pushed the Nest thermostat too hard and cracked it. My dad was like really annoyed about it. And I was like, look, Dad, I get it. They're dumb for doing that, but it was also like a $2,000 reservation on a property he didn't have a mortgage for. So it was like pretty much all profit. Choose your battles. But like I said, air cover for the most part is gonna have your back. And final friendly warning here, if you're gonna sign up for an Airbnb listing, use my link in the description down below. It actually does help me out, and you'll get to get feedback on your listing directly from me, which I think is pretty cool. Now, like I mentioned earlier, if you wanna learn the whole Airbnb shebang, I've got this video right here that is an in-depth course and will literally teach you everything you could possibly know about Airbnb. So just click that. Oh, and don't forget to like and subscribe first, and then click this video.